So welcome. I first want to apologize. I'm very sorry that whatever tech gremlins in the world to say decided that I wasn't going to have access to Facebook Live or Zoom working on Facebook or anything. So I am very, very, very sorry about that. It happens, but I very much apologize. And so I'm Diana Atkins from Artists of the Spirit, and thank you for joining me, those that are on this little mini class that I'm kind of excited to share. It's a really important topic, and through my years of working with different students and apprentices and things like that, this is one of the core, say, challenges with self-confidence that every single person, I would say 95, 97, 98 even percent of all human beings have to go through. There are some folks that had a strong enough family upbringing that enforced their innate right to live, right to be. They're smart enough, good enough, worthy, and all of that. But that's a very small percentage. And so almost all of us have to deal with it. And so it's okay, but we have to deal with it or we are miserable. And we'll talk about that. And as I have said that this is going to be experiential, if you have a piece of paper and a pen handy, great. What I'd like you to do is draw a circle with a little smiley face in the middle of it that represents you in the middle of the circle. And if you don't have a piece of paper and a pen handy, no problem. Just when I have you close your eyes, just imagine that circle with you standing in the center of it. And that'll be fine. So let's start out by closing your eyes, taking a nice deep breath, letting go of the delay, letting go of this class, letting go of the day ahead and behind. And imagine yourself standing in the center of a circle. You can make it a circle of stones or flowers or a fence, even a fairy circle in the woods. It's all good. And seeing yourself standing in the middle of your circle, it's like reach out and call to you all of the things that you would like, the things that you dream about, but that you don't have yet, and that because you think they're out of reach. Could be a partner, maybe being free of judgment, a new house, a different body, abundance, friends, whatever your heart dreams of is fine. And whatever it is, imagine it coming and being right on the outside of your circle. Those flowers or stones or the fence or the fairy circle. So calling them in and imagine them standing just on the outside of your circle or fence that you have set up in your mind. Hmm. Good. And then taking a peek, opening your eyes, taking a moment just to jot those things down like short bullet points, jotting them down on that outside of your circle. And if you don't have paper, then keep your eyes closed and look at each of these items that are standing and being and existing outside of your circle and etch them in your mind, telling your brain to remember them for later. Hmm. Now, closing your eyes again and imagine your circle with all of these things on the outside of it. But now you're really going to feel into and imagine all of the things that you do have, that you have brought forth into your life. The things that you have, like maybe your home or your friends, your various successes and accomplishments, your skills and talents. Maybe it's your artistry with cooking or all that you've learned, all the trainings you've done, your job, career, kids, partners, parents, everything you have around you, be it peace or clutter or perfect. Imagine that all inside your circle. And as you turn around, You're standing inside your circle. Turn around and take this in. All the things you have. Beautiful. And now take a moment and jot those bullet points down inside your circle, or keep your eyes closed and look around and etch these items in your mind and in your brain, asking your brain to remember them later. This is a really fun thing to actually have as something to reflect on later. Good. And so understand that everything you have written down on the outside of that circle are the things that you are holding away from yourself, or you're not allowing them. It is outside of your circle because you haven't claimed it for yourself, or you haven't allowed yourself to have it yet, or you haven't developed the confidence to know that you not only can have it, but you actually deserve it. We always choose in accordance with our beliefs because our beliefs are what we know and what we have held to be true. So now again, close your eyes and imagine yourself, again in your circle of flowers or stones or fence with that boundary line drawn that is keeping those things on the outside, the things that you want, it's keeping them away from you. That line, that fence, that boundary, and it's that line between what you allow, because you have it in your life today, all that stuff on the inside of your circle right next to you, and then there are the things that you don't have because you haven't allowed them in yet. They're on the outside. And really see those things outside of the circle. Really see them. Now imagine that you start expanding your circle outward to include all of the things that you have kept out, all of those things that you have kept on the outside. So imagine expanding your circle. And this is really, it's so sweet. Imagine them entering your circle, dancing into your circle, and energetically allow them to enter your energy field right here, right now. Welcome them. Each one, allow them in. Feel their energy and know they are possible. Revel in what that feels like. Allow yourself to experience that energy of having all you dream and all you want. How does that feel? And now take a moment, jot down those feelings somewhere on the edge or the back, or bookmark them. Good. Now coming fully into the here and now, let's talk about confidence. And so, why is confidence so important? And confidence, it is vitally important in life because it's that foundation from which our personal success, our fulfillment, our happiness, they start. They start there, okay? That bedrock. And think about it. Confidence empowers you to take risks, to turn and face challenges, and to pursue your goals, to reach out and expand and let that good stuff in, right? Because it allows you to actually win. All right? We get to win. And so it's really, that's part of the game. I mean, why would we do this if it wasn't to win? And learning experiences, but I consider all of that winning. And so with confidence, you're going to trust that your abilities, well, you will trust your abilities, and you'll understand you can stay resilient when you're faced with obstacles that every one of us are going to face. You know, the assuredness not only can enhance and improve your performance, but it also affects how others look at you, how they perceive you, and how they respond to you. And they can actually create positive opportunities as a result. And so imagine that you're going to go to a car mechanic. And the first person is like, whatever, come on in, or, but they don't speak up a whole lot. You go to somebody else, the next one, and they just tell you like it is, okay? And then you go to the last mechanic, and this person tries to manhandle you into all sorts of fixes, right? So the first one that you go to isn't competent at all right? But the last is so over the top that you wonder, what insecurities are they actually hiding? Or what kind of scam are they going to pull over on me, kind of thing. But then the one that tells it to you straight, he doesn't have to hide or impress you. Okay, they just are, because they know their stuff. They know that they're secure in their knowledge of their craft, their skill. And if they have any doubts at all, well, they're going to tell you that too. Like, lady, I'm not so sure how this is going to work. Or guy, you may want to consider something else. But they're going to be straight with you, and they're going to be honest with you, because they're confident in their being, they're confident in their skills, and just in being themselves, right? And telling it basically like it is. And so we need that confidence in so many life situations. I mean, it helps in decision making, in communication, in forming relationships, whether that's with friends, lovers, colleagues, or bosses, right? Confidence ensures that you're going to express yourself authentically, and you're going to take action despite fear or uncertainty. And that's important. You take action despite fear or uncertainty. And I think that's the definition of courage, where you're scared, but you do it anyway, right? It's okay. You have the confidence to do that. And without that confidence, self-doubt can truly prevent you from achieving your full potential, because it hinders that ability to take significant, meaningful risks or actually go after growth opportunities. And so a lack of confidence can lead to feelings of stagnation, missed opportunities, in both your personal and professional areas of life. And it makes things so much harder. It really does. And a quote that I found that I really, really like says, "When is the risk of losing something certain outweighed by the chance of gaining something great?" Okay, when is the risk of losing something certain outweighed by the chance of gaining something great? When? This is a brilliant quote. I love it. And so we'll talk about those points throughout this course, but 3 quick practices to help you with confidence are, so these are 4 actually quick ones. The first is set small, achievable goals. It's like breaking the big task into smaller milestones to build a sense of accomplishment. 2 is positive self-talk. I wholly support this. Regularly challenge all those negative thoughts and replace them with affirming, constructive beliefs about yourself. This is vital. And I might be teaching you what I call the BS tool later on in the course, but that's the premise of it. You replace the negative stuff and replace it with positive, life-affirming, and constructive beliefs about yourself. The third is celebrate your successes. And we have to celebrate the wins. Reflect on your past achievements to reinforce your capabilities and remind yourself of your progress, because you're making it. We all are. You can hardly live in life without making some progress. And then 4 is step out of your comfort zone. All right. Continuously challenge yourself by engaging in new experiences to stretch your skills and, vitally, to prove to yourself that you are capable of growth. that you are capable of growth. Because without that confidence, it's like, well, what happens when you don't have it? Without confidence, you might find yourself hesitating to take action or to act on new challenges. Maybe you're avoiding opportunities or feeling overwhelmed by even minor setbacks. This happens to people, minor setbacks, and the world's falling apart. And the self-limiting behavior, it usually results in like reduced personal and professional satisfaction, a decrease in, total lessening of well-being, and limited growth and happiness. And this is important, limited growth and happiness. So over time, that lack of self-confidence can lead to anxiety, extremely low self-esteem, as well as challenges and difficulties in forming strong relationships, intimate relationships, deep relationships. And that's a ton, all caps on that one, of unnecessary stress. And so another quote that I found that I really like is, who would have suspected that the most dangerous place on our spiritual pilgrimage is our comfort zone? Thank you, Jim Rigby. Who would have suspected that the most dangerous place on our spiritual pilgrimage is our comfort zone, right? Think about that. Whoops, I'll come back to that one. Seriously, think about that. Our comfort zone may feel safe, keeping you from reaching out, and it can be boring as hell, really, or so mundane that you dream and crave more. But more important, again, that lack of self-confidence can lead to that anxiety, right? Extremely low self-esteem and difficulties in forming strong relationships, deep relationships, intimate relationships. And again, that is a ton of unnecessary stress. And stress has been the cause of more health issues than you can imagine. And about, 10 years ago, stress was the leading cause of death in the United States, because it caused so many problems. It really does. Anyway, look it up. It's a lot. That leads to another complication of staying in our comfort zone. And the quote I was going to show you that I really love, I've shared this one for years, is from David Wilcox. When you lay your dreams to rest, you can get what's second best, but it's hard to get enough. Think about that. It's hard to get enough. And not getting enough is a whole level of poverty, of emotional poverty, it's a whole different level of poverty. And this one is largely, predominantly a state of mind, same as with a lack of self-confidence. It's a state of mind and how we think about it. And I know that part of this was around your life coaching, those of you that are interested in that. With life coaching, confidence in that field, it goes beyond merely just knowing what to say. And I've got to tell you, I would say fear of what am I going to say next, right, is the biggest. It's the biggest. It's the one I hear constantly among my students, life coach training students, is what am I going to say next? Oh my God. And my whole advice is just relax, it'll come. But life coaching goes beyond knowing what to say next or opening to what to say next. It's about understanding the impact that your presence actually has on your clients. All right. They come to us for help as coaches. And coaches with really strong self-confidence can hold space for the clients to process through their emotions, allowing for a much deeper exploration of the challenges that they're facing. And when clients can see their coach radiating confidence, they feel reassured. It's like, okay, they can hold for me, and if they feel like it's safe to explore their vulnerabilities, knowing that they're being guided by somebody who is steady, who is right there, who's not freaking out or blanching or, all the things that you could do. Because one of the things I say in my course is that I developed the confidence enough, in part because of the Toltec tools, don't take anything personally, that I have had my students, I've had some clients get really mad. They're blowing up. And I'm just sitting there going, okay, come on, what's, bring it on. I'm not saying it like that, but because the best thing for them to do is to emotionally express. And when they feel safe enough with me to do that, I consider that a win for both of us. Because truthfully, as coaches, we cannot jump in the river with them. We cannot jump. We are got to be the rock, that life preserver, that lifeguard with the buoy that keeps them afloat. So we don't jump in. No, we don't jump into the river with them. We're steady. We hold for them. We're that strength and that life raft for them. And that's what keeps them afloat. So let's just look, how do we do that? And how do you develop your confidence? Because I'm willing to be the life buoy for you, right? And I'm seriously excited because I know if I can do it, you can do it. Let's just start with that. And we all can do it because I've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students actually do this and gain the confidence. And so self-confidence, with that, to have it, you must identify your strengths. It's an absolute must that you've got to identify your personal strengths. So 10 or 15 years ago, I did a 4-day and 4-night vision quest, side of the mountain. I did allow myself water, but no food, nothing like that. And on my last night, I sat out by a fire all night waiting for the light to come. And I was already my own worst critic. I really was. So when I got around to looking and feeling into my successes, and when I really truly looked at them, I was pretty surprised. I was surprised. I mean, I've done a hell of a lot of really cool things, and but I had never like put them in the basket. I never focused on them all at once. Never. I've never done that. And I had never written them all down in one spot before either. Until that night, at least. The value of this, I cannot stress enough. And so I had this little ceremony that night while I waited for the sun to crest the mountains, and I truly honored those successes. I truly did. And so that's important and it's vital. And it's also something else that most people never do. They don't honor their successes. Shoot, I mean, I never put them all in one basket before, on one journal in this case, and written them down and actually looked at them all at once. And, it's usually, yeah, I've done that, or yeah, I've done that, or yeah, I've done that. But because I never honored it, maybe that was the night I started holding my own confidence. I said that trip, that vision quest was when I got over my terror of lightning. So, yeah, you're lying there and it's storming all around you. And no, you have to let it go. It's like, okay, because, what'll be, what'll be. But you would hugely benefit from putting all of your successes in one spot and really look at them, because you might be as blown away as I was. It's really a powerful practice. And so to do this, you have to start with that self-reflection, where you actually look at all of your past experiences, all your past skills, all of your areas of expertise and where you've learned things and the trainings you've taken and the passion and creativity and what you're bringing to the story, and you can ask yourself, what unique qualities do I bring to my life? Yeah, what are those? Because they're going to be unique to you. You're the only one that's holding them, and so write those down. What are your unique qualities that you're bringing into your life? And maybe it is your creative gardening or your cooking or your professional achievements or, bicycle riding, whatever it is. What do you bring? The second, how have I successfully helped others in the past? We've all helped people. What's your way? How have you done it? Maybe it's you just opened the door for little old ladies. That's perfect. Maybe your mission on earth is to smile at everybody you meet. Maybe you volunteer. Maybe it's a tremendous amount of things that we end up doing that are helping others. And even the small acts of kindness, like practice, random acts of kindness, that can be included there too. The next is, what do I bring my passion and my heart to? Like, what lights your fire? What puts the roar in your, I know that, there's, what do you bring your passion and your heart to? And that can actually be, I won't go away from my mind. I know one of the things I get really passionate about is I get so upset when I see like injustice to animals, old people and babies, let's say, kind of thing. I can really bring a lot of passion to that. But what are your passions in your heart? And then finally, what are your successes? What are your successes? So we're having you focus on that, right? And so remember, things like getting married may be a success, but also things like getting a divorce are, can also be a success. So both can be successes because each one took strength, awareness, commitment, courage, all of that. Getting married and getting divorced, starting a job and quitting a job. So I want you to expand how you normally think about it. And I know I've had a lot of students go, "What? My divorce was a success?" And I go, "Well, yeah. Don't you think that?" And they go, because they had never thought of it that way. Think about it that way. Because by recognizing your unique strengths, by really seeing and honoring them, you can start to leverage them, use them, remind yourself of them to create a balanced life for yourself. And so to further solidify your strengths you got to get them in your being. I mean, you've spent if you're taking this course, you're interested in self-confidence, right? Most people spend a whole lot of time beating themselves up and not holding that. And so strength-based exercises, things like a strengths journal, where you write down all of the moments when you felt particularly successful, let's say, or empowered in your life or your home or your work. And then you got to read the daggone thing when you feel disillusioned or when you're like that inner judge or critic is saying, you can't, you're not good enough, smart enough, talented enough. And instead, if a journal doesn't work for you, you can create a strengths jar or maybe just a box where you write it down this is a good idea, actually. You write them down on pieces of paper and you fold them up and you put them in the jar or the box or a drawer, or wherever. And when you need it, you pull one or two out and read them to remind yourself that, hey, yeah, these are my strengths, doggone it all. And, you can bring them back in. And reflecting on these moments over time, really, it not only boosts our confidence, but it can also help you to look at and identify, say, patterns in your strengths. Okay. Allowing you to like lean into those areas even during your work or your life coaching times. But yeah, you can start to find the patterns in the strengths. And so here's the thing. You can't keep holding on to the old limiting ideas, no matter how comfortable they are, right? You've always heard it. You cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. And yet we do it. We all do it, but we can't, we shouldn't. We need to let's change that up a little bit. I don't know what is going on. Hopefully you're not seeing a screen that says screen share, but I can't figure out what's going on. I apologize. My thing is being challenged. Oh dear. All right, let's go back. There we go. Now we're here. Hang on a second. I have no idea what that is. All right, I'm just going to stay on me. So, and I apologize. Back to you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And no matter how comfortable, all right? Because you also have to acknowledge that change can be scary, okay? But the idea, that whole entire idea of things being scary, most of our fears, they're constructs in our mind. We make shit up and call it real, and it isn't necessarily real. It can feel that way, but it doesn't mean that it is. I mean, the fear can feel really like fear, but it's a construct. It's something we're dreaming of. It's something we're reinforcing. And usually, yeah, people will say, but I've had it, blah, blah, blah in the past. And I'm going, okay, that's the past. It's not happening now. You've changed. You've had life experiences. You've had opportunities to grow. all kinds of stuff has happened between then and where you find yourself today. Except most people don't get that logical about it because emotions don't follow logic. And that's something that's important to understand. An emotional response doesn't mean it's either true either, but they don't always follow logic. And so being afraid, that I can't do it is a construct of the mind. And it's an easy one to do a turnaround on it, and it's like reframe it, restructure it, change the whole construct to something like, I'm safe and supported by the universe, or God or your dog or supportive friends or loved ones. I mean, whatever works for you, and then leave the whole negative stuff behind. And this is an entire concept from which has been poo-pooed a lot about the whole law of attraction stuff. But, our minds make stuff up and call it real. And then at a minimum, we're sending energy that way. I didn't think to pull up an Einstein quote, but he says everything is energy and that's all there is to it. And that for us if we can visualize and hold that vision of what we want in our minds, he says, you cannot help but create that. And he says, it's not psychology, it's physics, the physics of life. And you can look up Einstein around that. Is that what we can see and visualize is what we can create because energy follows our thoughts and our intent. And so by going in and understanding you're holding limiting ideas, and you understand you're holding limiting ideas that probably aren't even your own. Maybe your parent said you couldn't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or a teacher or peers or whatever pressure you've gotten in the past in your life. And it's more around turning that on its side, reframing that, and changing that whole construct to, I am safe and supported. What I really like is, of course I can, because of course you can. It's like you can learn it, you can experiment, you can study it, you can take classes in it, you can practice it. The Dalai Lama practices 4 hours a day. That's the freaking Dalai Lama, right? Because practice makes perfect, that old saying. So you can practice it. You can get it in your bones. And when you've got it in your bones, that's where the confidence, that's where it shines through, whatever it is. You get it in your bones. And so I sent you an extra workbook today that I wasn't sure I would have time to go over. And so if this whole little thing will not boo out on me, I am going to try a screen share and we'll go over that. Hang on one second. And if you have it and want to, there we go. I wave my hands around a lot, so you'll see me in the background here. But so this is a handout that you received. And essentially, they're all around overcoming self-doubt exercises, which is the focus of today's class. And so the whole achievement inventory, it's like the objective is to help you recognize your past successes and competencies to help counter self-doubt. Vitally important. So here are the instructions. Create a list, a detailed list of your past achievements, which I've already mentioned you do, including personal, professional, and academic successes. I would add to that, personal can be a lot, your family, maybe your partners, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, make it as whole as you can and holistic as you can. And then you reflect on those, so for each achievement, write down the skills and qualities or actions that actually led to that success. Because this is all around helping you flesh yourself out. You've got to flesh out your idea. Like, okay, so I'll use me. I did that vision quest. Okay, well, I had to have, I had to research where to have it. I had to do a lot of research on how to hold it. I did this one by myself, actually, because I was confident enough that I could sit on the side of a friggin' mountain. I mean, it's a Girl Scout, for God's sakes. So anyway, all the different skills, qualities, and actions, everything you've had to do to get to success. And for me, it meant even when the lightning was happening and I was terrified, And I could have run down the side of the mountain to a cabin. I never did. I never left my circle. Yeah, so that's part of it. Your success is not giving up. And then you review and reaffirm this regularly. You look over the list and remind yourself of your capabilities in order to reinforce your self-worth. So the example, if somebody successfully managed a project, they might list skills like leadership, organization, and problem solving that contributed to that success. So a mom, and this, I love this because moms just don't think highly enough of themselves. I think they're friggin' amazing. But things like budgeting, meal planning, organizational skills, crowd control, event planning, problem solving. They are chauffeurs, they are chefs. Mothers are incredible, and so much more to other items that they're successful at. So creating that list, a detailed list of all of your achievements, and really expand your ideas around achievement, that word, right? Because I know that you and I look at it maybe a little differently. And I have had a lot of practice supporting people and expanding their ideas around that. Like I said, an achievement might be getting married, but an achievement might be getting a divorce, getting a job, quitting a job and moving on. There's a million things that are achievements if we will open up and look at them like that. And then B, the self-doubt journal. Let's go there. So objective, track and address self-doubt triggers and patterns. The operative word, especially triggers, and understanding the patterns can be really helpful. Instructions, daily reflections, like keep a journal or something where you write down instances of self-doubt, including the context and your emotional responses. All right? What were you feeling? What did that self-doubt cause? What emotional reaction did that self-doubt cause? Because once you can understand that, then there's a lot of ways that I teach some artists and other places that, once you are watching those emotions, if you feel the emotion, you can start to learn to counter it. And if you start seeing the patterns, like if this person, puts me down, I will have this reaction, is one example of a pattern that you could have. And then you're going to analyze them. At the end of the week, review the entries and look for those recurring themes or triggers. All right, look for the recurring themes or triggers. And then you start to challenge those doubts. So for every instance, write a counter statement that challenges the doubt with evidence of your skills or past successes. And I'm going to say here that we need to make them the truth, because our minds have this really sad little thing that they won't fully embrace something unless they think it's the truth. Okay. And it gets a little tricky because sometimes people are fed a line of, of a story and they're going to think it's true and it's really not. But for the most part, if I'm trying to convince my brain of something, it needs to be the truth. And the ones like, of course I can, or I'm learning here, I love those because they're always true. And here's another example. If you doubt your ability to lead a meeting, you might counter with, I successfully led team meetings and received positive feedback, or I successfully led this mediation, or this family gathering, or family dinner really well, and everybody left happy. Or I've been trained for this, I can do it well. Or I'm learning to do this and it's going to work out perfectly. So really write a counter statement that's going to challenge that self-doubt. And then number 2, with combating imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is a big one. I would say probably 70% of the students that have come through Arts of Spirit have held this one, at least when they came in. I tried to work it out of them by the time they left, but so imposter syndrome is where you feel like you're going to be pulling the eyes over people, and they're around, who's going to believe me? What have I actually done? Why would people take me on as a coach? Why would people take me on as a teacher? Why would people, want to come to any class or event or anything that I've organized? Because, you feel you're not worthy. And so the objective is to actually identify those feelings and the misconceptions. So there's some prompts here. You list out the questions and your answers to them. So what specific achievements or qualifications do I have that led me to considering this role? Be that a new job or a parent or whatever it is. What are your specific achievements or qualifications? And like with life coaching, you just might love helping people. People might come and talk to you. I hear this so often. A lot of my students say, people in the subway will just start talking to them, or the grocery store. That would be an achievement there. Yeah, people are comfortable talking with them. The next is, what education and training have I received that support my ability to handle this role successfully? That's a big one. What feedback or positive reinforcement have I received from others? And just that, if they say thank you and mean it, that's the same thing. That's feedback. Feedback I would get from folks is, well, how did you know that? Or, because there's a lot of different ways that people give you, maybe they just give you a hug. That's feedback and positive reinforcement. And then how can I reframe the feelings of being an imposter as signs of growth and learning? How can I reframe the feelings of being an imposter as signs of growth and learning? And, so acknowledging that you have the awareness that you've even identified the feelings and all of that associated with it, that is, awareness is the first step. In Artists of the Spirit and all my teaching, I'm very fond of saying, you can't change what you can't see. Because you can't. And so you need that awareness and you need to see clearly what is going on. And so let's just look, the example is that if somebody feels they're not qualified for a coaching role, they might list relevant training, positive client feedback, their personal growth journey, or they can also list their certifications and tell themselves, my, my trainer said I was good to go, and I am. And that's like at the end of Artist, with that 70% that have held imposter syndrome, if they're still holding on to it by the time they're certified, I kind of get exasperated by that point and what I'll say to them is, look, I'm the one certifying you. I am saying you are good to go. So stop it. Just stop it. Because they're basically, what has it been called? Mental masturbation. And I apologize for a kind of crude thing, but it gets the point across. That's like they're not serving themselves. Their mind is running a story and it's not working at all. And so, yeah, my trainer said I was good to go, and I am. And then the next is gratitude and accomplishment statements. And this is so cool. I support everyone to develop a gratitude practice. But so objective, shift the focus from self-doubt to acknowledging personal achievements and strengths. And the instructions are, as a daily practice, write 3 things that you're grateful for and 3 accomplishments or strengths every day. And so, like for me, I do have a gratitude practice, and I use gratitude every time I eat something, for example, and it gives me an opportunity to spread that gratitude, because gratitude itself. The Institute of Heart Math has shown that gratitude is really effective at opening the heart chakra and getting that energy center moving and shifting and dynamic and yummy. Affirmations. Create positive affirmations based on your strengths and achievements. Okay? Yeah, positive affirmations are awesome. And they can be helped a lot by taking action, but the first step is basically creating the positive affirmations. And again, do them based on your strengths and achievements. And then Review your gratitude and accomplishment statements often. You want to reinforce your value and contributions. I mean, most of us have heard or through life, a lot of people have heard, you can't do that. You're not good, blah, 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 blah. It's like the external people telling us. We heard it so much that we started telling ourselves. And so really we need to counterbalance that. So you've got to reinforce your value and your contributions. And some people have said, well, what if I get like a big head? I was like, well, okay, get your friend. If you think you're getting too stuck up about it, then you're already aware, you'll figure that out. Or I've got some friends that I asked them, I had them swear on their firstborn child. I said, if I ever get like too big a head, will you please tell me? That's all. So you can put in little safeguards like that too, if you're that nervous about it. But example, so the daily statements might include things like, I'm grateful for my supportive network. I accomplished leading a successful workshop. I've learned the tools and skills and tools I need. I didn't freak out when Zoom and Facebook both wouldn't work today. Review them regularly. And then with building self-confidence. So A is the visualization exercise. So this is really powerful. I highly support you to do that. Do this one. Spend 10 or 15 minutes imagining yourself succeeding in your desired role, whether that's as a life coach or whatever is on your horizon or in your dreams. And remember to include sensory details, sight, feel, sounds, colors. I mean, making it real for you will 10x the power of your visualizations. And especially if you include the sensory details, but also the emotional responses. So joy and happiness that, hey, yeah, you succeeded. So take and spend 10 or 15 minutes imagining yourself succeeding in a desired role, and then bring it alive. Make it really come alive for yourself. Doing that it really quantum leaps the effectiveness of your visualization. And then afterwards, write it down, write a detailed description of that successful experience, including how it feels, what you saw, and how others reacted. And then practice it regularly. Do it you want to reinforce a positive self-image and that confidence. And then, so for example, you might visualize delivering maybe a successful coaching session or feeling confident in receiving positive feedback from a client or whatever you're doing. And then B, with the activities, the objective is to engage in activities that are going to actually boost self-confidence through real life practice and achievement. So you set small goals. And so that you don't make them huge. You don't want to jump from where you are to the top of Mount Everest immediately. Set and achieve small manageable goals related to your personal or professional life. And then you track the progress. And it's really important to celebrate every achievement, no matter how big or small. All right. And so maybe you start speaking, public speaking practice, volunteering to lead a group project or take on new responsibilities at work or in the family or among your friends. And then an affirmation and success wall is like create a visual and emotional. That's important to keep the emotions in there and alive, but a reminder of your personal strengths and achievements. So you create that wall or vision board, and it can be physical or digital, like a success wall, again, or a vision board, where you're going to post affirmations, positive feedback, personal achievements. Yeah. And so a lot of time people look at vision boards as what they want for the future. This is about what actually is. This is to reinforce and remind yourself of your freaking kick-ass greatness, right? Your personal strengths and all of your achievements. And you need to visit it often and keep adding new items to it, whether it's a wall, a vision board, digital, however you do it. You want to add to it often and to keep your confidence up, keep that excitement going and your motivation high. So the example here was you could include handwritten affirmations like, I am a capable and compassionate person or coach. I have all the tools and strengths I need. I am learning all the tools and strengths I need. I like that one a lot. Of course I can learn this. Of course I can be a great parent, cook, whatever it is you want. And then positive feedback from friends and colleagues or clients and peers. You can list that as well. And then in conclusion, and to wind up for today, the tools and exercises here are designed, hang on me. Oh, well, I can't get out of this. I'll move it. I know. So all of these tools and exercises are actually designed to help tease out the practical and the actionable steps that you can take for overcoming self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and ways that you can move towards self-confidence, because that's what these 5 days are about. How do you improve your self-confidence? And by regularly doing the exercises, reflecting on your answers, because here's the deal. Toltecs talk about something that an aspect of ourselves, let's say, that's really self-limiting. And we have to keep what we want right in front of us, or the self-doubt's going to kick in. We have to keep our goals right there. We have to actually freaking stop and look, because what a lot of people do is you'll attend. How many workshops have you attended, by the way? Just think about that. And how many of them have you actually done the work that the teacher laid out for you to do? And I mean, really done it and practiced it. And a lot of times people will get so far down a path and they think that they're cool enough. I'm sorry, I don't actually mean that. They think that they've got it, though. When one of the bigger eye openers for me was today, right? Today, Facebook wouldn't work, Zoom wouldn't work. I then taught this whole class and I realized Zoom didn't record it. So I'm teaching it again for the second time. But what I found was in that opening practice that I do with you, with the circle, you have your boundary and you in the middle, and then all the things that you have in your life and all the things that you have out. I really did it with the first time with as I was leading it, and the feeling I had, I mean, it was just incredible. And so if you don't, you've got to actually do the work and do the examples to get that feeling. You've got to do everything I've told you today to get that feeling, and you want to get it in your bones, because again, me, so many of us have been told all of our lives what we couldn't and what we shouldn't and how we weren't. We were told so much as kids until we learned to tell ourselves. And then we've all got the voice of that judge and that victim rolling around in our heads. And it's just being reinforced over time. So it's not hard, but we have to take some kind of steps to rework it and to change that, because you've been practicing it for your whole life. If you're taking this course, if you're questioning self-doubt, you have been practicing those negative voices in your head your entire life. And it's the only way. Trust me, I have studied this like crazy for decades. The only way to change it is to actually do it. You just change it. And the only way to actually really do that and stay sane about it is to do everything I've taught you today, and I'm going to teach in the next few classes. Today's got a lot. There's a lot of practices. Do the practices. And when you do them, you're going to find that things shift for you. And when things shift, again, you're not going to go from here to the top of Mount Everest overnight. I mean, you could, but we tend to not do that. But you can change, and you can do it. It doesn't have to take forever, but you have to do the practices. Like I said, the Dalai Lama practices every day. It's the Dalai Lama, and but practice is there for a reason, and it's going to remind us. So do everything I've taught you today, and then I'm going to see you tomorrow, and I'll share more with you tomorrow. And so blessings. Again, my apologies for all of the very unusual errors today, and I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye.